Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman unleash the next chapter in the life of Bruce Banner as the man has had enough of everyone and everything on Earth, doing the unthinkable to the Hulk and using the Rage Monster one final time to ensure that he will not hurt anyone ever again. Donny Cates takes over from Al Ewing's incredible Immortal Hulk series with an immediate follow-up which deals with a lot of the fallout from those final issues of Ewing's book, revealing what Bruce Banner has done to the Hulk to ensure that he'll be left alone for good. The framing of Bruce as a villain is quite interesting, since whenever you get these Hulk vs Avengers storylines and they try and bottle up the Hulk or send him off to another planet or something, it's always the Hulk and Bruce is just kind of a hostage along for the ride of sorts. So it's pretty awesome to see that flipped on its head, with Bruce now being the monster and Hulk being the hostage. It also plays on the idea that Bruce is fed up with people doubting him or ignoring him when he's easily as smart as Reed Richards or Tony Stark, and proves it here with just how he turned the Hulk into his own personal Evangelion unit to try and get his work done before the monster fully takes him over and he dies off. It's such an interesting take that not only incorporates what Ewing did to the book beforehand, but also slightly resets everything for a new reader to come in and see these cool change of settings and status quos. Ryan Stegman, Donny Cates' longtime collaborator, returns here with some fantastically brutal artwork. Obviously, being the Hulk is Rage Monster, the book is steeped in a great blood red hue, covering many of the panels with Bruce sort of being fueled by this rage. Hulk's new design with the very Weapon X-esque headgear is interesting, and I love how insane the idea of Hulk being turned into a spaceship is, and is played out very well through the artwork here. Hulk issue 1 was a fantastic beginning to Donny Cates' new series, picking up many of the threads from Al Ewing's incredible run on the character and evolving them further into a really unique take on Hulk and Bruce Banner. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. Hulk issue 1 finds the Hulk beating at a large blast door as Doctor Strange has a theory on what the Hulk actually is, but it's one he's been terrified to say until now. He says that they've always believed that the Hulk was a manifestation of Bruce Banner's childhood trauma or rage or a fury or anger, but what if it's none of those things and Hulk is actually there to protect them from Bruce Banner? As Bruce suits up in a flight suit, he is met by Betty Ross, who knows that he can't keep him locked down there and he's just a child, but Bruce knows he can do that and he will. Betty reminds him that El Paso wasn't his fault and Bruce snaps at her, saying that he blames the Hulk, not himself. Betty says that he's scaring her, but Bruce doesn't care, saying he knows he's only useful when he wasn't there and he's had enough. He knows that he never wanted to be a hero or an Avenger or a monster. He wanted to be a man of science and always wanted to be pushing the boundaries. But then the tumor started growing and it never stopped or slowed, and while he has control now, it's only a matter of time and he will never wake up again, since the Hulk is immortal and Bruce Banner isn't. Bruce says that until the Hulk takes over, he's going to be pushing the boundaries, but Betty knows that this will blow up in his face. Bruce knows that that's how this all begun, so it's fitting that that's how it ends, telling Betty to get out of his head. The manifestation of Betty Ross disappears from Bruce's mind as he takes his seat in the ship's controls, telling himself that the waves break over him since he is strong. At Avengers Mountain, Doctor Strange tells the gathered heroes they now face their greatest threat and are out of options thanks to Bruce Banner's broken mind. Captain Marvel asks how many were killed in El Paso, but Captain America knows that it was too many, telling the team that Iron Man is tracking Banner to an old Stark armory in Wundagore, wanting to know what he's up to. Doctor Strange doesn't know, going off on a tangent about how Banner managed to pull off the impossible and he doesn't know how he did it alone. Captain America demands his friends speak plainly, so Stephen reveals that Bruce has fractured his mind into parts and he has rebuilt the Hulk into a starship. Stephen reveals that Bruce split his mind into 3 distinct parts, modifying and upgrading the Hulk's body with stolen AIM tech, which he then surgically implanted into the Hulk somehow. On top of that, he has built a mind palace, the likes of which he has never seen before, getting a mere glimpse at it when he astral projected into Bruce's mind before the man shut him out. Finding it vast and complex, and at the center of it, Bruce sits in his captain's chair. Bruce tells Tony to give up since he's never actually beaten him in a Hulkbuster, as Tony tries to stop Hulk from getting into the armory. Bruce warns Tony to stand down and get out of his way when suddenly 4 more Hulkbusters appear, surrounding Hulk as they launch missiles at him. The missiles explode in the air above him, raining down adamantium nanoparticle shrapnel, which begins burrowing into the Hulk's skin, beginning to harden the adamantium adamantium inside his bloodstream. The Hulkbusters attack as Doctor Strange talks about the third element in the Starship Hulk, knowing to keep Hulk's body strong, the Hulk must stay angry, which is why Bruce has caged the Hulk's angry psyche in a place he calls the engine room. Hitting a switch, Bruce fires a cannon at the Hulk, who is beating the door in the ship, sending out an infinite army to attack the Hulk and control his rage, which in turn then fuels the ship that is the Hulk. In his rage, Hulk pulls his arm out of the hardened adamantium, ripping it off at the joint as he flies at the Hulkbusters, ripping them apart as Tony says that Strange told them everything that's going to happen with him, trying to talk to Bruce as one mad scientist to another, but Hulk doesn't care, ripping through one of Tony's Hulkbusters as he says he's done explaining himself to anyone. He rips Tony's suit's arm off, using it to fire on the real Tony, blasting him into the armory base. Tony knows that he's not getting through him since he's still standing, and Hulk is glad, smashing Tony in the chest and through into the base. The Hulk walks by the defeated Tony, knowing that he has come for Project Arc, the giant Iron Man armor that Tony has been building ever since he piloted the Celestial during the Null attack, and the chest arc reactor in the suit is using celestial energies which create a portal to allow people to be evacuated through in case there is another event level attack. Bruce is impressed with his work, but he needs to borrow it, as Tony knows he can't since he hasn't finished the math yet, and it's not safe and he could die. Bruce knows that Tony wants to be rid of him and that's all he's ever wanted, but Tony again warns him that the portal will probably kill him and he would have no idea where it would drop him off at. Bruce is aware, knowing neither would Tony, as he says his goodbye, sending out one final message as he falls into the portal. The final transmission of Bruce is soon found, telling whomever is listening that he isn't explaining himself and this is just a warning, telling them that he is leaving because none of them will know how to deal with what he is going to become, and while they have all their little plans like armored suits and rocket ships to deal with the Hulk, it's not enough since they aren't dealing with the Hulk anymore. They are dealing with Bruce Banner and they have no plan for him since he's not controlled by the rage anymore, he is fueled by it.